Long ago, in the ancient land of Wisconsin, a group of nerds delved deep into the depths of Milwaukee Area Technical College. It was neither gold nor silver they sought, but knowledge of video games and the video game industry. They called this epic journey the Dev Quest. Welcome to the Dev Quest, a podcast where we talk about video games and the video game industry at Milwaukee Area Technical College. I'm your host, John Harwood, and I'm joined by
Jason Wisniewski
and George Madison.
And William Brees. I was expecting you to do the whole guest thing.
And
Ian Ehlers.
And Ian Ehlers.
Good start.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, we're joined by William Brees and Ian Ehlers. So, yeah. And then also Jason and George are here, and John is here.
Well, of course.
That's everybody who's here. All five of us. All right. Hey, how's it going, guys? Will, are you excited to be on the podcast?
Super excited.
Okay.
What's not to be excited about? You get to talk for an hour.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I normally don't shut up.
So, first topic, guys. That's not the right sheet.
Oh, off to a
Wow.
great start.
Watermelons and how they affect
All right,
game design.
first topic, guys. What's a disc? Hell if I know. Are disc-based mediums going extinct? It seems like digital marketplaces are sort of taking over, where like physical copies were sort of filling the gap. So, yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I definitely would agree. I mean, half the games I play aren't even on discs anymore. My Steam library has kind of eclipsed my PS3 library at this point, which is ridiculous.
Right.
Same for me. I mean, Steam has pretty much taken over my laptop, and my game and the actual discs that I own keep on dwindling farther and farther.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I don't know if they're going to go away completely. I think there's still going to be a lot of people that like collector's editions and stuff like that. But it certainly seems that, it's going that road where it's going to be mostly digital, and I think physical copies will be reserved for most of the hardcore and stuff like that.
Yep, and then everyone's just going to have to buy RAM.
You mean...
Nope, I mean RAM. That's it.
Okay.
RAM.
I think that's true for PC, but obviously console gaming is probably not going to ever go away, and with console games you're going to have the discs.
No, I disagree.
There's some digital versions on consoles, but most of what you're going to see is going to be $60 discs in the store. I don't think that's ever going to go away.
I disagree.
Why, George?
Because, basically with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you can really see they are selling the disc, but they're really pushing more for, they install the entire game. So the disc really is there for nothing, really. I mean, you still have to put the disc in, but they're pushing for, or you can tell that they're pushing for, it to be you downloaded it from the store directly.
Right.
But yeah, I'd agree with you. I think it is becoming more of as for the discs, it's becoming more of collector's editions, limited editions. That it's you have to be a hardcore fan of the series if you actually want a disc.
Right. And I was reading a article just recently about, I think it was one of the CEOs or owners of GameStop, and they were talking about how actually they think that GameStop is totally still going to be a thing going on into the future. And I think he was saying that just between the discs themselves that contain the games might go away, but they see a big thing in they see big potential in amiibos and all the figure stuff. So the Skylanders and the Disney Infinity type things too. So that I think that's where they're thinking that they can
They probably still sell the the codes or whatever, how you buy them on the packet or whatever, if you bought a 3-month, how they sell them like that. They probably still sell the games like that. They'll probably have
Yeah, they have
some
them on cards.
Yeah,
they'll probably have some type of form card or whatever you just grab and
There's always going to be a big market for people that don't trust companies with their credit card.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Back when I was 15, that's how I bought stuff on my 360. I'd go to GameStop, cash in hand.
Right.
Yeah,
I still do that.
When I was a youngling and I didn't have a credit card, I'd buy WoW subscriptions on cards.
I didn't buy I didn't go. Well, I did go to GameStop at some point, but there was a point in my life when I realized that there was a cheaper place. So I was like, GameStop or somewhere else. I won't say the other place because I don't want to diss GameStop.
Well, wait.
I know, but
You just went GameStop, by the way, you're not as cheap as you should be.
I'll just game stuff all day.
Just I'm going to insult you, but I'm not going to give the other person talking about a
I'm
compliment.
perfectly fine with talking trash, but I don't want to actually help anybody.
But you see, the fact that I didn't boost another store up, therefore my insult didn't make a difference. Like
I don't think that's how that works, George.
Well, okay.
That's how it works in his head. In his little fantasy.
Okay, well then fine. The other should I say that? Nah, I'll plug it later. Whatever.
The hamster's rolling this.
Plug this retail store.
All right.
For discs though, I think personally I like collecting CDs. I think that's another medium that needs to be mentioned for disc because a lot of that. I mean, iTunes is a huge conglomerate at this point. But I don't like getting digital music. I like having the hard copy. That way I can take it wherever I go because I don't have the most advanced technology.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's also going to kind of go extinct eventually because just like how the records went extinct after CDs came in, I think digital media is going to make that go away forever, which it will be a sad day for me.
One thing I'm kind of expecting, as far as like for like hard copies, I'm expecting that it's going to go kind of back to chips. Because
you mean
yeah.
cartridges, like tiny like micro cartridges?
Yeah.
I can see that.
There's actually a company that exists, and I cannot for the life of me remember it. I can look it up later so we can put it in the comments or whatever. But it functions on the same like subscription model as Loot Crate.
Okay.
But what they do is they take like indie games on Steam,
and
they put them onto like this little half card, half flash drive thing. They'll send it to you along with a bunch of artwork and a big cardboard box for a subscription rate. So like, it's already starting.
Right. Yeah, I think I've seen something about it.
I know Pro Jared's been boosting it on his channel lately.
Okay.
Isn't it Think Geek?
Well, no, ThinkGeek's another retailer which has a ton of awesome stuff, but it's
Because I thought they do that.
they might, but what I'm talking about it's almost like a direct competition to Loot Crate as to what it's trying to offer.
Okay.
Okay.
I see. All right.
If you guys ever do Loot Crate, you guys subscribe to it because I've been thinking about it.
It's awesome.
Is it?
It's totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop due to not having the money there for a while, but
Yeah.
half the people at my job do Loot Crate, and I have yet to hear much of a single complaint, especially when they take their, 24 months worth of Loot Crate and pile it out on their bed, and they're like, Jesus, I have a lot of stuff.
Where would I
Right.
put it all, though? I don't have infinite space.
Just take over your roommate's room.
Their rooms are tiny. I got the big room.
Just have a
Wow.
geeky bathroom or something.
I did all the work.
I've got a few friends that do Loot Crate a lot, and it seems cool, but the thing about Loot Crate is that there's themes every time, and so you can get a theme that you're just not interested in all. I think my friends were really disappointed in the spy one, where they're not really into spy stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'd be disappointed in that too.
Yeah.
It's really best for people that are just collectors in general. I know a guy that just collects all the pop figures.
Right,
and
right.
Loot Crate is actually cheaper than going out and buying all the pop figures.
That's funny. Okay.
But yeah, there's another company that does Loot Crates, but you actually pick out the types of brands that you like. Kind of I know my one friend, what she does is she always picks out Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Fallout, and Skyrim.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen ones that are where they have certain themes. There's one that's an anime box, and there's one that's a video game box specifically.
I think it'd be cool just to have something that did the Loot Crate model, but every month you'd get an email or a text or something, and you get to pick out 5 different themes or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
So they're doing the spy theme. I don't really care about spies. Let's go with the horror stuff instead.
Yeah, that could be cool. The problem is though is that when you forget, then you get a random thing.
Well, yeah.
It's
But I mean, there's a lot of people that wouldn't care anyways, so it's a win-win really, whichever boat you're in.
That's
Yeah,
true.
if you forget, then it's just no different from Loot Crate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still kind of win-win, yeah.
All right. Next topic.
All right.
All right. Next topic is good vibrations. What is the best use of haptic feedback you have seen in a video game? For those of you who don't know, haptic feedback is basically like a rumble pack, but just recently they've been coming out with cooler versions of rumble packs where it's I know it's either the PlayStation or the Xbox controller where I think it has haptic feedback in each trigger specifically. So, yeah. Just does anybody have any specific examples?
Yeah, that's what he
of
said.
that?
Good vibration. It's
I could sing the
literally
song.
good vibration.
It's just a reference, George. You don't have to read too much into it.
I thought you were going with the fact that it's vibrating controllers.
He's going
thing.
for a double entendre.
Yes.
The
Double
best
your
kind.
entendre.
The best kind of entendre. I haven't played much with any sort of Rumble Pack stuff. I like how the PS4 controller like incorporates a lot of hand motions on it, but that's really the extent of my experience.
Yeah.
There are two in the news within. One's kind of old and the other one's not quite so old. Not quite sure if either one counts, but there was that whole bulletproof vest thing that they had prototyped for a while, where anytime you got shot in a first-person shooter, it'd give you some kind of like impact on your chest.
Oh yeah, I really remember that.
Which is it's a cool idea, but I don't know if they ever actually went anywhere with it because that was like 2013 that I heard about it.
Oh.
So.
It cannot,
That's
like,
kind of intense.
it's actually
That's a dumb idea. That is a very dumb idea.
It's not
reason
it's
they
not
decided-
full bullet impact force, just enough that you
I
can
want it to
tell.
be.
But,
Be able to go
but
flying.
still, okay, imagine you're getting shot by like a machine gun. You're gonna, and then imagine you play it every day. Okay, now imagine somebody plays it every day,
Yeah,
all
you're gonna
day.
I guess you're gonna be pretty
Chest
sore after
pains,
that.
a lot. What is that called? Angina? A lot of it. A lot of
Is
it.
that what it's
Imagine, like,
called?
you're
I believe it's called angina.
Do not wear vests if you have heart issues or are pregnant. Like,
But no, that
Do
was
not
like-
play. Do not use vest at all.
Speaking of pregnancy, so my example of
look me in the eyes when you say that.
my example of good haptic feedback is in the game. Have you guys ever played the game Fear 2? Ever?
Yes.
Okay, my favorite use of haptic feedback is like at the end of this is kind of a spoiler, but the game is like pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
But at the end of Fear 2, basically you get raped by a ghost.
Oh, good.
Raped by a ghost.
Yeah. Ian, can we talk about this?
I don't know. I don't think
Like,
as
literally
long as you
raped?
don't like go into graphic detail,
Okay,
I
I
think
won't.
it's appropriate.
Like literally raped by a ghost.
Pretty
Like,
it's a lady
yeah.
ghost.
Let's not get into
Oh.
too graphic
Yeah.
detail.
But basically, the concept is that there's this ghost, and she's forcibly having stuff with you. And basically, the whole point is that she's like super evil and stuff. And the idea is that like immediately after the stuff is done,
Intercourse.
then basically she just becomes pregnant like immediately. And basically, like she like forces your hand like on her like pregnant belly. And then like you feel like a baby kick like through the controller. And I thought that was
that's
super sick.
gross.
Yeah.
I don't want to play that game.
It's a good game though.
Not
he
for
said,
me.
He said, "Ooh, that's
Not
gross."
for
That's funny.
It sounds interesting the way
Yeah, it
you
does.
describe it, but
Yeah.
not for me.
Fear's a creepy game.
Sounds like
It's-
a game I
it
never want to play
really is.
either. I'm gonna
Well,
play
I mean,
that
it's
game
called
so
Fear.
soon though.
Who
I
would've
would
thought?
expect nothing less.
I have to play that game soon just because it sounds so creepy.
Nowhere near as bad as Silent Hill, but
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's,
then I
it-
don't know if I want to play
It's
that.
definitely not like the penultimate horror game, but I quite like it.
The-
it's a good entry point into the genre, really, especially
Yeah.
if you're a person that plays shooters.
Yeah, it has a lot of like really cool like action scenes too and stuff, which I think breaks up the horror nicely.
Have I played Fear? I don't think I've played Fear. Maybe I have, and I just don't recall.
And it's always good to play Fear when it's like a dark, stormy night.
Oh,
And
yes,
no
that
one's
sounds
home.
great.
It was
Ah,
a
yes,
dark
the
and
nightmare
stormy
film.
night, and all the nitwits were playing Fear too.
So,
Before we switch topics, though, I did have another example. There's a game called out, I believe it's called Blind, wherein you play a 12-year-old orphan girl who is blind, as the name would imply, exploring a like haunted mansion, and it's being played. You play it
What?
on an Oculus, so you literally can't see
it's on the
anything,
Oculus?
and pretty much all of your feedback is coming from is haptic feedback coming from your controller.
Wait, why do you need the Oculus if there's
Because
just
you're
going to
blind.
be a black? Well, why is it? Well, can't you just wear like a blindfold? Why do I have
It's
to
a
pay
full body
$200
immersion
for an Oculus?
experience.
That's a perfectly viable point, but
It's a full body immersion experience. That's
You've
what-
actually-
I think the Oculus has some vibration in and of itself, maybe like
okay.
special sound systems or something. I haven't fully researched it or anything, but
Yeah, it might be.
the key gameplay aspect is that you can't see anything, so you have to go completely off of sound cues and off of haptic feedback.
Okay.
Which is
I feel
a
like you go
gloriously
blind.
good idea.
I think pretty much almost every
I
game
think
nowadays
that
has good
for them to
topics.
actually be of some amount of
haptic.
of meaning,
There you go,
they have
John.
to be used for like VR systems,
Okay.
which I mean they currently are working with. I know like the one vest that you wore. The only reason that sunk so badly was because one of the playtesters was like a kid who had a fragile rib cage. Took one hit, cracked like 4 of his ribs.
Wow.
Well, maybe that
My
shouldn't have
point
been
exactly.
tested.
Right, like
Why?
they're like, hey,
They
this-
didn't know at the time.
Oh, okay. Well,
But why would
you
you-
not do like a medical background? That sounds
Not even
important.
that. That's why would you want to simulate getting shot? I mean, isn't that the one thing that nobody wants to happen? You're like,
It'd
oh
be good
yeah.
for soldiers.
Well, I think the
But that's
idea,
for soldiers.
the idea is that it's supposed to be immersive, right? So when you're getting shot, it feels like you're actually getting shot.
You don't want to
just
actually
like in
get
real
shot,
life.
though. I mean, that's the thing, though. That's the reason we play games, so that when we go out and we have our gun and we shoot somebody and they shoot back, we don't actually die, right? Or we don't actually feel that
Well,
pain.
you're not actually dying though. You're just
You would feel the pain, though.
What
but
if one
the pain.
is trying to be like a CS:GO professional player, and they're using this thing to kind of instinctualize not sucking?
I guess so. So it's like your what's that called? It's like a Pavlovian.
Yeah, if
Pavlov
you
conditioning.
if every
Yeah.
time you get hit in this video game, you experience pain, you're gonna go out of your way to not get hit.
I guess.
See.
See, what I want them to do is I want to go beyond that and do a full body suit. So that everything just like if someone grabs your leg, your like thighs.
They are currently working on that.
That would be awesome. I'd want it.
See, I think they should stop with like that whole thing though, because you have to take into consideration.
Oh,
what
please
you're
don't go
really
into
messing with.
Sword Art Online stuff with the VR system.
No, that's not what I was
I don't
going
wanna
with,
talk
but
about Sword Art.
but it makes it very interesting. Like that Sword Art Online made a very interesting case. Like if like let's say they do a full body suit or whatever, and then you're in the game, you're walking, you can feel yourself walking and all of that. Like if your brain, like, because all of our brains don't function exactly the same. So if your brain says that you're dead in that game, you might actually die. So that's dangerous. I mean, obviously you can obviously if they test everything and make sure that that doesn't happen, then we're good. But
Right.
just messing with it in general is very dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
I guess so. I don't know.
We're in the Matrix, everybody.
Yeah. I feel like instead of having a
Blue pill or
suit,
red pill.
at that point you might as well just have like a big brain plug like from the Matrix where you just jack in and then you
Why not? That's just too
But
far.
everything
That's
is way
like
cooler
take on
looking
and
with
off,
helmets.
Like,
That's the entire point. That's the entire reason there was a helmet, because it looks cooler.
Oh, okay.
I guess maybe.
That's-
I don't know.
Or they could do it
Guys
where
wanna
it's
mess
like
with
you get like
dangerous
an
stuff.
implant and then there's just like you just put it's like a pad you put on.
That
top
would
of it.
hurt. Are you being serious?
you know, every time I use the Oculus Rift, my first concern is looking cool.
Is that seriously?
okay.
You mean like we get it like implanted?
Yeah.
Like if you're a gamer, you're like, and they're just.
Well, it's not like it wouldn't be like a big thing. It wouldn't be like a big piece of hardware just sticking out the back of your head, but it would be like a small little implant. And then in order to connect to it, you would have like you just have like a little like wire, and then it just connects like wirelessly. So it's not actually like plugged into your head. It's just kind of like wirelessly intercepting with your head.
That still seems very painful getting it implanted.
Well, yeah.
No more painful than getting a replacement arm.
Look, it'll be all the rage. Trust me, this is going to be
Brain.
all the rage in the future.
It's gonna be all the rage.
in 20 years, the world is going to be like in Deus Ex.
You
And
heard
then
it
they're
here,
gonna
folks.
hack you. Like, can you imagine that? Like, we all get like little like head chip implants or whatever, and you just get hacked. You're like, haha, you're dead now, and like game over. Then what?
Get hacked.
Oh my
See?
god, 4chan is going to have so much
Oh,
fun.
no.
All right.
The last haptic thing that I have to say, and everybody knows about this, or at least almost everybody does, but the Psycho Mantis fight in the first Metal Gear Solid.
Mantis.
So I've never actually played that Psycho Mantis.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
So the big thing is, the Psycho Mantis breaks the fourth wall, does stuff like reads your memory card. If there's other
Yeah,
Konami
that's
games,
right.
he will talk about the games you have on your memory card, which is hilarious. And then
Yeah.
at one point he says something along the
Is it
lines
real?
of, "Now put your controller on the floor, and I will move it across the room with my psychic abilities." And it just activates the rumble, and it's like lopsided, so it scoots across the floor.
Oh, that's funny.
So it actually does like read your games.
Yeah, it'll read everything on your memory card, and
Sort of like
anything.
Crash Bandicoot, like it appears, boom,
Well,
crash.
and-
It's mostly Konami games only because I know like they do it for like
Yeah.
Castlevania and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
it's a lot of fourth wall breaking stuff.
Let's go. Psycho Mantis is psychic.
It's because Psycho Mantis is best villain ever.
You're that ninja. Why did you call me brother?
All right.
Those games are silly.
Next topic. Next topic.
Next
guys?
topic.
All right. Next topic is spoopy, scary skeletons.
yes.
Are you guys tired of all video games using slimes, skeletons, and zombies for video games? And if you are, why do people love using skeletons, slimes, and zombies so much?
Because
I,
they're
for one-
easy.
Okay.
I, for one, love skeletons, slimes, and zombies, so I have no problem with it.
Okay.
I don't
They're
have a problem
fun
with it
and
either.
whimsical, and they can.
Whimsical.
Are they
okay.
whimsical?
They are. Like, what? The
Whimsical.
idea of
I don't
a
even know what that
skeleton-
means. What does whimsical mean?
Whimsical means fun and like jubilant and easygoing.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't
it's just
think
like
they're
what's
whimsical.
more fun than seeing a skeleton just rattling around in his bones, like.
Well,
I
sometimes that is funny. Yeah.
I think the biggest difference is, funny games that have slimes and zombies and skeletons, like freaking Plants vs. Zombies is
Right.
hilarious, and it's a great game. But, you know, when you're trying to use those super comic booky type monsters in something that's meant to be taken seriously, I'm not going to take it seriously.
Right. Well, it's not necessarily like I'm not taking it seriously, but it's more like, I don't know, like I've seen this before. Like whenever I go back and play Oblivion, so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot there were like zombies in this game, and they were just called zombies. Whereas with like Skyrim and stuff, they kind of like gave the zombies more of like a purpose in the world, where it's like they were like
the Draugr.
Yeah, the Draugr, where they were like the protectors of like the dungeons and stuff like that.
Yeah, or dead.
Although
past.
some of that comes from different cultures, kind of like.
Isn't that Norse? I think.
Yeah, in Norse they actually do believe that for burial chambers that the dead will come to life if someone who's not supposed to be there does go in there.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, they actually did the
I
research
really wish
on
that
it.
is the case. I hope that is the case. Like, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah, this is real life.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see, I need to say something like negative today. I catch you.
Hey, you know me. I for one, am a fan of skeletons, so...
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have ever played Killer Instinct, but Spinal's one of my favorite characters. I love both of his designs, because if you go back to like his old design, he's just a skeleton with a sword and a shield, like as opposed to his big dreadnought pirate self, and it just looks silly, and I like it.
Okay.
I think that the overusage of all of the zombies and skeletons is, like you said, like I've seen it before or whatever. I mean, I guess it depends on how they really like depict it and make them look like or how they're attempting to use them for like zombies, like for the newest zombies or whatever. It's like, this is like, I mean, they changed it completely. So it's like these zombies aren't scary; they just run faster and stupid. So
Zombies are admittedly pretty overused, but I think they're used a lot because they are the closest thing in horror that could be considered realistically possible.
And because there's just so much history with it, you don't have to build a custom mythos or anything, because you just clap and say zombies and everyone knows what's happening. There's no need for backstory.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's true.
I guess I never considered that zombies come with their own like backstories.
Except for Walking Dead. Then that gets thrown
I mean,
out.
there's always exceptions.
It's always one of two, right? It's always like, oh, it's magical and religious, and the other one is like, oh, well, it was science that killed everyone.
Yeah, there's always two categories of zombies. It's just the undead horrors or the infectious zombies.
Yeah,
where I think it's Left 4 Dead. They're called zombies, but they're not actually zombies. They're infected, which is why they don't suffer from rigor mortis, and they can run and climb stairs.
I like the I Am
traditional
Legend
ones. Like,
I Am Legend. Those are technically like vampires, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
those are weird.
But it's that I like them better because they work better in both if you think of it scientifically as well as if it's.
Honestly, I like the Left 4 Dead. Not Left 4 Dead. Walking Dead zombies, because they really follow the traditional path of. They're moving corpses. They're not smart. They can't go up ladders or doors or like stairs or anything.
So in Walking Dead, are newer corpses more like mobile than older corpses are?
Technically, yeah. Once it's like the disease really like starts to rot away at the body really quickly.
Okay.
But they do suffer from rigor mortis still, so they're very limited in their mobility. And the only reason why they move around at all is whenever they get like the scent of flesh or something, which is why it way deeper in the comic series it explains why there's just massive hordes of zombies roaming the landscape, because one zombie saw a human, started moving towards that human, and other zombies saw that zombie moving towards those humans, and they just gather up into huger hordes.
Okay, so that's interesting.
They're very simple-minded, and that's why I like that series.
I like the Walking Dead series too, because like they also stick to the whole. They don't necessarily feed off of like sight. They feed off of like sense. Like they smell and they hear. They don't necessarily just see. They can see. They're not blind. Like you can walk past one and it will see you. But like there was an episode where the sheriff, he covered himself in blood.
Yeah, that's
they were all covered. They covered themselves.
Is his
in blood.
name Rick?
Rick
is the
Sheriff Rick Grimes, and they were walking past the zombies or whatever, and they were covered in zombie blood and stuff. So like the zombies thought they were like, "Hey, you're a zombie too. I'm not gonna eat you. You're me." So,
all right.
It's also interesting because I always wondered how why zombies never attacked each other. I understand that they want like flesh that's not rotting.
Yeah,
but how do they process that the flesh is not rotting?
A blood scent.
Right, but how do they because they have blood. Like newer zombies, like once they turn into zombies, they're not automatically rotten. They have blood.
It's blood that's still in the body, but it's not running or anything. It's just stored there.
There's also generally, and this will vary based on the universe, but usually there's some kind of virus or something that dictates that you're infected. And the zombies almost always have such an acute sense of smell they can smell that virus. So if something is infected, they don't want it.
My question is that, like, though, because the reason that the brains aren't actually dead; they're just infected, right?
Once again,
it depends on like
yes and no at the same time.
Right, because the reason I was thinking, like, the only reason you can smell, see, or hear anything is because you have a brain. So, like, what's going on, like, in the mythology that they're unholy dead or whatever, or
the magic one makes a lot more sense because then it's
easier to explain. Yeah, you don't have to.
It's magic.
You don't have to have a realistic explanation. The most realistic like possibility that I've done a hefty amount of research in this for some reason is that there's a virus that infects the body. It'll kill the host, and the virus lays dormant for a couple of days up to like a couple of weeks, and then the virus reactivates the brain, which reanimates the body, but the body's still suffering from rigor mortis and like all the blood flow has stopped. It's not a functioning body; it just moves it.
And that's why they move so.
Although the heart would.
I remember now. I remember looking up that stuff.
The heart would also need to keep beating.
It's just barely. So I for one am a firm believer that the zombie apocalypse might actually happen. Like I don't think it'll. Like I don't want it to happen. I don't think it happens.
I think we're all hopeful.
It could happen.
I think we're all hopeful that it'll happen someday.
I don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to happen
People
either.
always say like, "Oh, I can't wait for the zombie apocalypse. I'm gonna be so cool." I'm like, "No, you're gonna die."
Why would you want that? Like you might be the one who starts it, so I don't know why you want it to happen.
I have a plan. I have a zombie emergency plan. It's a pretty good plan.
Do you have your whole basement like stocked up with like food and stuff like that?
No.
Is it like leftover from when you were like grandparents?
No, I'm not a prepper or anything.
My sophomore year in high school, me and my friends got prepared. We like all exercised and had weapons. I don't know what it was. We were just convinced that year was going to be the zombie apocalypse.
Well, it very well might. Fun fact: the Last of Us, they're infected are based on an actual fungus that exists that actually does that to like insects.
Yeah, I've seen
that.
And those are infected. They're not zombies, so they can actually.
Well, technically, it's not
cognitive.
an infection. It's a fungus, right?
Well, yeah, but it's
a fungal infection.
No, I guess that's true. You can't apply that.
Just one more thing because we're on the topic of stereotypical like horror monsters and stuff. Why aren't there more games about, honest to God, not Twilight vampires?
I know, right? I actually have. You've played it. I have a game that's actually about like a real life, or not real life, but a non-Twilight style vampire that just goes around killing stuff. So, yeah, buy my game Demon Hearts on Steam.
Wow,
they could have
shameless self-plug.
Like.
It's not shameless.
They could have made like kind of like a spin-off for like because the Twilight zombies the Twilight vampires.
Twilight had zombies.
Yeah, the Twilight vampires, they have potential to be like great game characters, I guess, or whatever.
Sparkly and shiny.
Not themselves, like not the shiny part. That's stupid. But I'm saying like
just the concept
ability
of,
wise,
like just superpowered humans.
Yeah, like ability wise, they're like
those vampires. Why not just have superpowered humans?
Great game starring vampires. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Okay, I've never
seen
played that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the only example I can think of a game centered around vampires.
Right.
Yeah, like honest to God ones.
Yeah,
and it seems like the whole gimmick of vampires is that like they're weak to certain things. I feel like is really good for like a game because you can just program in like, oh, this vampires don't like garlic, so you can't go near the garlic store or whatever.
This game is about essentially a secret society of vampires, but there are lots of classes. There's a particular type of vampire that is just nuts and doesn't make any sense when you talk to them. Sound like they came straight out of the loony bin. There are other ones that fit more like the Nosferatu type zombie. You have to pretty much get around in the sewers because you don't blend in with people.
Oh, okay.
So it was a fairly deep RPG with a class-based system.
That's cool.
But instead of being standard, I'm a wizard, I'm an archer. There were different classes of vampires, each with their own pros and cons.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool game.
I know there was that like multiplayer. I think there was like a MOBA that was based off vampires too.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Where it was like asymmetric, where like one side was like vampire hunters and the other side was like actual vampires. And
Wasn't
each
that
one had like their
Secret Life?
abilities.
I haven't heard about that one.
Was that it? Secret Life?
I don't.
No, there's an MMO called Secret World, which one of the
that one
factions
still
is
going?
the. Huh?
Is that one still going?
I believe so. My friend Terrence plays it.
Yeah, like back when that first came out, I was really interested in it, and I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game, but one of the factions is the Illuminati, and a lot of what.
Forgot about that.
That's funny.
There's a lot of Illuminati and Cthulhu type stuff in that game.
Yeah, which is why it's awesome. I love Cthulhu, but
Yeah, me too.
As long as we're on the topic of vampires, I think one of my favorite things that people have done with vampires, and this is a really weird poll, but the movie Hotel Transylvania, which is the only Adam Sandler movie that I will ever accept in the last 20 years.
Right.
But they talk about vampires and like how their weaknesses are really just common weaknesses. Whereas like, are you really, will garlic really kill you? Yeah, I'm allergic, my throat swells up. What about a wooden stake to the heart? Yeah, well, who wouldn't that kill? I mean, it's just really funny how they just make those weaknesses pretty much trivial. The only thing they were actually weak to was the sun. Which,
Holy Crosses.
Yeah.
were they weak to the Holy Crosses?
Yeah.
In that one?
well,
Okay.
they've got a weakness to silver.
True.
I thought those were werewolves.
It's both.
Yeah.
Is it both?
That's just mythical
Okay.
creatures in
Well,
general.
those are the ones that they touched on, and I thought it was hilarious.
Have you guys heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd? Ever?
Yes.
He actually he does another show called That's Bullshit, and it was all about and one topic of the show was all about vampires and how like the rules for them are like so like dumb, and there's so many for them now that they're actually just like huge weaklings.
Yeah.
As for mythical creatures that I think are kind of like dumbed down, I think werewolves are.
I thought you were gonna say mummies.
Well, them too.
When's the last time you've seen mummies outside of the occasional like break case MMO or something?
The movie The Mummy.
Yeah, we're talking about games here.
The Mummy, the movie, the video game.
The video game based on the movie, based on the mummy,
Based on
They're
the
probably gonna
Mummy.
have one.
based on the real life.
They're
mummy.
probably gonna have like a mummy in one of the like let's say the Tomb Raider after the newest Tomb Raider probably.
Tomb Raider I would see that being the most likely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that.
Um,
They should come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
a
should
good
be like
point.
a DLC, like The Mummy's Curse, where she fights a mummy. or
The
something.
only thing I can think of that currently exists with mummies in it is RuneScape, though. So.
Oh yeah. That's great.
the Zelda has mummies.
Yeah.
No, they're
Aren't-
Gyptos.
Yeah, they're Ditto.
What?
Yeah, all Zelda enemies have like weird names.
Oh
so they're
yeah,
not-
but they're mummies.
I guess so,
They're
but
like
snakes are
you-
also ropes.
they're
So
I guess.
Bats aren't
It's like
bats, they're keys.
they're keys.
They're mummies, and they
But
walk
keys
at you
are
like
keys.
a mummy, and then
Yes.
if you burn them, then their bandages come off into the skeleton. Like they're mummies.
But yeah. I would actually like to see a game that uses werewolves as like main characters,
That would be cool.
Yeah,
That would be cool. I've always wanted that.
especially because if you actually go into how werewolves are, like vampires, there's different classifications. Kind of like there's full transformations, half transformations, and just bloodlusts.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf Among Us, the main character, is a werewolf that they use really traditionally.
Oh, yeah, I guess
Um,
that's true.
I
Yeah.
think one of my favorite things as of recent, I'm not going to say the game because it's a recent game, spoilers, but they use the Wendigo as the creature, which is great.
You can't say that as if no one knows. Everyone knows that game, dude.
I
Except for the
don't.
people that don't know.
Yeah,
Except for
oh,
the people
well,
that don't Will doesn't know.
But I know
so-
which one you're talking about.
No,
Which-
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The
Okay.
Wendigos are cool. They're based off of Canadian lore
Scary
of
too.
cannibalism.
Finally,
So,
Canada
that was a really
has
cool
something
idea.
like to fear, right?
Finally.
Except just people
Other than the
pushing
cold.
over trash cans and
Other
saying
than the
sorry.
cold.
Canada's greatest enemy, the Wendigo.
They conquered paid health care. Now they
Oh,
must
no.
conquer the Wendigo.
Yes, I see it now, coming out in 2018.
I didn't know Wendigos were like a real thing, though. I thought that was
Yeah.
that game, the thing that game just made up.
No,
they're
they
like,
were, like
that's-
as soon as I heard them name drop Wendigo, I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I've never seen that being used before.
Yeah, it seems like almost like werewolves even get like a worse rap when it comes to video games than vampires do.
Well, like in Skyrim, I didn't care for the werewolf mechanic at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Because it was bad.
Well, I couldn't like open doors.
Yeah, yeah, that
I
too.
made the mistake once of thinking I was
awesome.
going into a boss room
Uh-huh.
in a dungeon, so I activated the werewolf form. Turns out that was just a door back out to the entrance.
Oh dang!
Except it was an actual door, not like a cave entrance. So I had to wait 5 minutes for the transformation to end.
Yeah.
Before I could leave the freaking
What do you
cave.
expect? Dogs don't have thumbs. They can't open doors.
That's true. That's very true.
But when
you
you
know what
just
I
like
think they
bust
should
the
do?
door down,
Theoretically, but hey,
You
who
know,
knows?
either somebody in this room or somebody in this program or somebody in the world. I think what they should do is they should either make like a werewolf game, kind of like. Have you guys ever seen the actual first Twilight?
no.
Yes,
Because
unfortunately.
there's just
Movie?
yeah.
Wait, why do you keep talking about Twilight?
Because there's a specific scene that when I I'm not a fanboy. There's a
Twilight
specific-
fanboy.
It's confirmed. It's
First of
canon.
all, I watch movies and play games.
Exposed.
I gather information. That's what I do. That's my thing.
Talking
I'm an
about the
information
werewolves
gatherer.
and that,
Anyway,
and dogs.
the way they transform, and that's the only thing I'm trying to pull from that is the way they transform is interesting. You know, they kind of like
Yeah, but they transform
like
into like actual dogs. It's so dumb.
I know, but they don't like stop and like their bones break and stuff like that. They like.
But
you
that's
know,
what would happen.
That's not my point. My point is like the way they
Changing your body
Oh,
form in the
God.
matter
My
of seconds.
point is the way they transform is cool. It's kind of like almost instant or whatever. Like, you know, you can like if you decide to transform or you decide you want to be a werewolf, you can just I'm a werewolf now. You know, it's not like out of the blink of an eye. Obviously, you know, they rip out of their clothes or whatever. And
I like the traditional only during full moon thing.
Yeah,
I know, but that's like, but I'm saying like they can make a really cool game that way based off
Yeah.
of like you know just being able to transform that way.
I alternatively would like to see a game wherein being a werewolf is like one of the main mechanics, but it only happens every 30 in-game days because that's when a full moon is, and you can't really control it.
That'd be Blood Moon for Morrowind.
Yeah.
It's really good at explaining werewolves as far as like in Morrowind lore. I think they should have stuck with that when it came to Skyrim. It would have been so much better.
I think my favorite werewolf has been Lupus from Harry Potter.
Yes.
I really like that design. It was really cool, and it was like the traditional full moon thing. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
P.S. I watch movies I don't like.
Yeah. I've unfortunately seen the Twilight movies as well. I think.
See, look, I'm not alone.
Well,
I didn't
I
like
have two. I can't hide it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I've
Everyone's
seen two of them.
it's
They were both awful.
two movies everyone has seen. You never seen it?
I don't want
you,
to.
You live under a rock. I'm letting you know that. There's two movies that everyone
It's a blessing.
has seen. And
My
the
girlfriend
series
tried to take me
is
to it. I told her it's
Twilight
not happening.
and High School Musical. No matter how many times people say they hate Twilight and High School Musical, you've seen it at least one time, and you know at least one song. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's seen them. Everyone knows them.
Together.
Right, exactly.
Right. I didn't know I knew that one.
I'd like it on the record that I have seen all of the movies listed, but none of them were my idea.
Right.
See?
Yeah, me too.
Regardless, you've seen it, and you know.
Why are we on High School Musical now? I don't
Because
I don't
video
like where
games.
this conversation is going.
Hey, there is a High School Musical video game. If we want to go
And
there,
it's probably garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
garbage.
pretty bad.
It's definitely garbage. What do you mean?
What is it, like karaoke?
yeah.
Oh,
Probably.
God.
It's probably like the Star Wars Connect
Amos
game.
played it.
Hey, no, but you can have like a dancing Han Solo, and that is okay.
Is,
really?
is that okay?
It is
In my
okay.
book, it's
Dancing
not
Hot-
okay.
I
I
think
think
it's okay.
it's hilarious.
You know, have Han Solo
Maybe
just
it's
standing there like
hilarious.
doing a Charleston. I can
don't-
see that.
You should also be using the blasters with it.
It is hilarious. It's not okay though.
Have the Star Wars theme in the back while he's dancing. Just
George Lucas should be in there.
Yeah.
I think
Or
getting back on the horror subject, if I were to make an actual horror game, I'd want it to make like an honest to God horror game about skeletons and actually make them scary again.
yeah.
Because I like skeletons.
But
I'm,
they
I'm
can't-
going on record saying that when I die, I want to come back as a skeleton. So
They
I can
don't.
just,
They don't do much though.
So I
like,
can just diddle around for all eternity and never die.
I thought you wanted to come back as Waluigi.
I'll take a mace to your face.
He's not real. Skeletons are real, all right.
it's hard.
But you-
It's hard to make skeletons.
You have a
scary
skeleton in
'cause
you
they
right
don't
now,
do
though.
I know.
much.
I'm a skeleton man.
Well, Jason, if you come back as a skeleton, I'll use a mace on your face.
Oh, good.
It's you wouldn't even have to. You just have to push them.
Saving the world.
Push them. I mean, like it's really
All right, we've
hard
gone
to
off the
make.
rails.
Command
Next topic.
skeleton man.
Paid mods. This is kind of old, but you guys remember that whole paid mods fiasco? With
Very
Skyrim
much
and
so.
Steam
It was an
and stuff?
interesting
I was not very
fiasco.
involved with it, but I heard how much of a disaster it was.
Nope, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so just a little background. Basically, I don't remember what day, but it was a few months ago, and basically, the mods on for Skyrim over Steam were previously free. However, Steam offered up a service where basically you can have paid mods. So in order to get like a certain mod, you would have to pay a certain amount of money. And so yeah, that was basically the whole thing. Was that people would certain mods were still free, but they were offering mods that you could pay for now.
So clear it up for me, but it was my understanding why it was bad was that they made the paid mod system for the mod developers to make money off of it, but they just did it in a poor way that the Steam was just getting more money out of it than the mods were.
Oh, Steam was getting a huge amount. They were getting, what, 70 something?
Yeah, it was a typical 70-30 split, except with Steam getting the 70.
Yeah, right, of course.
Now, the one of the big things, at least as far as the research I did on it, as to why it didn't work, is because a lot of the paid mod creators had no modding experience and were uploading other people's free mods with a new license.
Okay.
There was a whole lot of people not using their own rights that was obviously causing legal issues.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
And inversely,
the problem.
Inversely, a lot of people were actively protesting it, such as by making a $200 mod that added sexual organs onto the horses,
Good.
and making an actual physical wall inside of Riften labeled as the paywall.
Oh, right.
The paywall?
That's hilarious.
The paywall?
Ooh, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I'm confused. The
It's
paywall?
It's a joke.
Yeah, basically,
paywall is like a term for a game that you can't make any more progress without dumping more money. Like a lot of the really bad like mobile strategy games, all the like all the Clash of Clans type clones that force you to spend thousands of dollars if you want to stay competitive.
Competitive mobile gaming.
It exists. There's several articles on the addictive factor of it too.
Right. But basically, the idea is Skyrim is that you get into a white run or whatever, and then there's just a wall that prevents you from completing the game.
Oh, I get it.
The
I
idea is
get
that
it.
you're supposed to like pay more money in order to remove it. But
I like
funny.
whoever made that.
Yes.
He's got gumption.
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah, but my opinion of the whole thing is that I think I'm probably kind of glad it's gone now because I kind of just think that mods should kind of be like a thing that you do for fun and for free. But I appreciate that Steam and Bethesda were trying to like do something kind of innovative. Even though, sometimes, whenever you innovate, there's always a chance it's just going to blow up in your face. I think it certainly happened here. But I applaud them for trying.
I think the only, or I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
But I think the only problem that they really did wrong was that Steam and Bethesda are getting the larger cut of the share. I think it should have gone to the mod developer.
I don't know if I agree, because you have to, first of all, you have to factor in that Steam has to take a cut, right? But then also they're coming up with Bethesda, so now Bethesda also wants a cut. So it's actually getting split like completely evenly.
But Bethesda, I think if I'm correct, they took 15%, which would also give Steam 15%.
Oh.
And then that gives the mod developers 70%. I mean, it's not a bad deal.
So was it that the mod developers were getting 70?
No, the mod developers were getting 30.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it was my understanding, and this could be completely wrong, that a lot of it was just going to Bethesda because, they're the one that built the game.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, like, is that necessarily unfair then? Because you're creating a mod for someone else's game.
Yeah,
And
like you're
if
using...
you're making more money than they are off of their game. That's not necessarily fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, you're using that person's property and, like, framework already, so, it's...
glad you got a mod out
It's
there.
probably all right that you're paying Steam and Bethesda as well, and it's all kind of...
Now, I do think for a cut like that, maybe there should have been more, like, easy-to-use mod tools available.
Yeah.
because
I think it definitely wasn't executed great, like, very well, but...
Yeah, but I will hold probably an opposing opinion to a lot of people on the internet in that I thought paid mods were a fantastic idea. My biggest thing is I think there should be quality control.
Okay.
Because, as evidenced by the fact that someone was able to sell horse genitalia...
That's my favorite mod.
They weren't really... They weren't putting a whole lot of thought into what could actually be monetized. Now, the stuff kind of like the Oblivion mod Nehrim that added a completely new landmass, completely new quest lines, pretty much everything was from scratch. Yeah, sell that. The thing that adds a new breed of horse and new technological armor and weapons that have data values of 9999, no, don't monetize that. That's dumb.
Right.
Those are god weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally never really got into mods. I don't really understand the point of them, but I know a couple games I've downloaded a few mods because they actually added like story content and added to the value of the game, but all the other times is like Skyrim mod where you turn all the crabs into Zoidbergs. Why would I want that?
I guess if you're going for like a more of a if you want something that's not lore breaking, that might not be the mod for you. But
because like there's stuff like Nehrim which has a whole lot more content. There's tons of like UI overhauls because spoiler alert, Skyrim's map was terrible.
was it?
It was pretty bad. I disliked it because it didn't show you roads. It wasn't a typical map. It was
okay.
a 3D downcast view where clouds got in the way and you couldn't really see anything.
I guess that's true.
But so there were lots of overhauls for that kind of thing for people that wanted it. So
Okay.
I'm an avid modder. I have more mod content on my current copy of Oblivion than actual default content.
Okay. And yeah, I think Steam and Bethesda's expectation, or what they wanted to happen with the whole paid mods thing, is that now they were expecting like more quality content, like the, what was that called?
Nehrim.
The Nehrim type stuff coming out for Skyrim. I think they were hoping for more of that to come out now that mods were paid, and you could even see like maybe teams getting together and making money off of just making like pretty much DLC for Skyrim, and then Bethesda wouldn't have to even worry about it. But I guess that's just gonna remain a pipe dream.
Yeah. Well, I would personally love to see people like the guy who made Nehrim get rewarded for their work, because you know it took him thousands of hours to get that thing done. And now, because some people decided, hey, I don't like paid mods and I should have the ability to take away your right to have them, now the people that make awesome content aren't going to get paid for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really do like the idea, because I think it does help the community. I mean, I know some people will never be a fan of it, but I think it's a nice gesture.
I think it's a great idea if it's executed correctly.
It's just correct execution has about 37 different definitions, and you're never going to make anybody happy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's a lot of tireless work that goes into deving that kind of stuff, so it's
Just because people want more money.
having a way to give back to that is great.
All right. So, I guess it's about time to wrap up the podcast then. So, yeah. Do you guys have anything to plug or anything like that?
Last week I talked about the DLC for Shovel Knight, and I wasn't aware at the time that the DLC for Shovel Knight is actually out. So if you have Shovel Knight, get the DLC. It's free.
Isn't it like $7
it's really good.
or $8? I'm gonna get
No,
it.
the DLC is free. I just got done finished
the actual
playing
game.
through it. Took me a couple of days and it was great.
I'm at the actual game.
Oh, the actual game? It's not very expensive. Like $15 on Steam. It's on Nintendo devices as well, so Wii U and 3DS.
Speaking of Shovel Knight, they're also working on an amiibo for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Does anyone know where I can pre-order one? I need one.
You can actually order it from the Nintendo store.
Not from the Nintendo store. I didn't see any on
Really?
there. The only places I've seen so far is someplace in the UK, which obviously we can't really do because it only takes UK money.
You can still just use a transfer.
I tried.
Oh.
It didn't let me.
Okay.
Maybe it was just me, but yeah, I really need one of those.
As aforementioned much earlier in the podcast, Mega Media Exchange was the place that's much cheaper.
Okay.
So if you live near one in your small town or city or
Do they
large
still
town or city,
do they still like carry like SNES and stuff like that?
Oh,
'Cause I
yeah.
heard they,
yeah, of course.
I heard that they like stripped a lot of that stuff out, but maybe it's just
No,
because
they
they were
strip
moving.
anything.
Well, and a lot of that too is just they got rid of a lot of it, and you don't have that many people that still had that stuff that are willing to part with it.
I guess
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. And at that point, our microphone stopped recording. Sorry, guys. The microphone filled up on us. Basically, we would go on to talk about plugs and stuff, and Will was going to bring up IndieBox as the box service that he was going to plug. And then I was going to talk about Demon Hearts again. You can buy it on Steam. And also, you can follow me at John Harwood Dev on Twitter. And you can also, I think, just search for John Harwood Dev on Facebook and Instagram as well. So... yeah, and then we were going to say goodbye. So, see you guys later on the next podcast. Bye-bye.